Hello, wonderful world. Okay, today is the first day of my 14-day event called Our Quantum Becoming. So I'm doing it between February 1st and February 14th. There's an event page. When I went to go into the event page and put the live on, it wouldn't let me. So I'm putting it on my timeline and I'll share it over. So I'll be doing a live video every day for the next 14 days. Um, because, oh my gosh, we are quantum leaping, evolving like never before. And it's one of my passions. It's part of my greater work and contribution for the world. So I thought it would be a great place now to start to look at that and share about it. So in the next 14 days, I'm going to be doing videos on things like how our intelligence is evolving. I call it infinite intelligence. How we're moving from just like an individual disconnected being into being collective beings in a brand new way. How we're moving from thinking that life just happens to us to not only be able to work with potential, but also to be able to pull genius and ideas and innovation and possibilities out of the quantum field, and therefore to source reality for the world. I'm going to talk about consciousness innovation and how consciousness is evolving, because consciousness, where when I first started with it, it was kind of like you went high, you went way out, you kind of pulled things, wisdom, knowledge from the past, etc., from greater beings, whatever. But now consciousness is a living, sentient, breathing thing. It is the universe, you could say. It is all of us quantum evolving all the time, and it is now a version of reality. I'm going to talk about how our connectedness with the earth and nature and animals are changing, with the oceans. I see that very differently than the rest of the world sees it, as climate change, oh, the poor earth, oh my God, we're doing these terrible things. Yes, we're doing awful things as humans. I don't mean that, but I mean what we've been working on is seeing the earth as just this profoundly powerful source being with miraculous capacity, and we've been enhancing and exhilarating that miraculous capacity along with this beautifully, powerfully sentient earth. And that, therefore, gives us a different future. How animals have up-leveled in consciousness, along with us as people on Earth as well. I'm going to talk about life force and vitality and a new kind of power, because where before we would have got our energy from our personal life force, so your individual beingness, as you're born, your being comes in, brings the vitality, the life force with you, and then it kind of is the driver for the physicality. But now we are running on universal life force energy, which is very, very different to running on your own just personal energy, or the sun, or the food you eat, or the sleep you get. Is very different to run on universal life force energy. The energy of the universe in creation, stars exploding and supernovas and galaxies colliding and all that wondrousness of the universe in creation, and just takes my breath away. I want to talk about how the universe is also quantum leaping itself and handing over to us a new dream of itself, a new possibility of itself, and how we get to play a part in that. I'm going to play with the miraculous and regenerative capacity for the physicality. I may also throw in there a bit of the genetics. My friend Dr. Charan Sardar is doing amazing stuff with genetics. Like, whoa, just mind-blowing, miraculous stuff with genetics, as are others around the world today. And you know, it's interesting. I've got a list sitting here in front of me of all these things, but um, I want to talk about our superpowers, our mastery, because I've seen two top spiritual leaders talking about unleash your superpowers just this past month. I've been talking about that for a couple of years now. And what I've discovered is there is a mastery inherent in you, which if you allow it to rise, it's there. But superpowers are like available to all. And in order to step into the utilization of those superpowers, then what you have to do is you kind of become the universe. You let go of the concepts of what it is to be a human being, an individual who has a set amount of capacity. And you allow yourself to expand, to connect, to super connect, to allow the force, the universal force, the Yoda stuff, the force to move through you. And in the moment, if you align yourself to the miraculous, to the impossible, to whatever, what you discover is that your superpowers are right there. And really, for everybody. It's not something you have to learn techniques for. It's not something you have to work hard and discipline yourself for. Superpowers are available to us all if we just expand, super connect, and allow that universal force and our own unique mastery and genius to flow through us in the moment. Ooh, it's such exciting stuff. I just love it. Okay, what else is on this list? Let's just see how the quantum field is changing. You know, it was at one point the quantum field was more, it was like you'd tap it for information. And then when I started to research genius about 6, 7, 8 years ago and did 3 years of work on it and teaching and stuff on it, that I discovered that there was genius ideas. You just pluck them from the field. You just call them, they come through you. Innovation and potential. And then we did some evolutionary work on possibilities. And possibilities, brand new possibilities that have never existed before. I'm not talking about an improvement of what is. I'm talking about new possibilities that you haven't even considered before. I call it the dream of the new source universe. The quantum field is just full of these things, and our role is to learn to call them, to activate them, and to actualize them. And that's what makes me and the people I play with consciousness innovators and future innovators, because we're pulling new possibilities, whole new versions of the possibility of creation and how it occurs. And it's not something that comes from the mind. That's just not where it is. It's something that comes from the universal consciousness dream, whatever you want to call that, of the possibility of us all. And so we're learning to operate in brand new ways. Now, the other thing I would say that's really quantum leapt in the last even year or two is our ability to move beyond being an individual. Here I am, I'm an individual, I have certain capacities, my field is this big, whatever, to surrendering identity, surrendering the need to fuss about a past, to worry about who I am and what I'm up to, and to almost surrender myself to the all. I'm not the only one that's done that. Loads of people have done that recently. And some people call it like being a vaster you. Some people would call it being the universe. Some people would call it becoming an infinite being, or our new collectiveness, or, there's a variety of terms. I'm not all hung up on the terms for this kind of thing. And so what happens is, the way I talk about it is, you become the all. And that's very different from becoming one with something. I think if you say to people, become one with something, they kind of like slide into a peaceful state. But when you become the all, you become the quantum force. You become the momentum of the newness and the possibilities of us. You become what I call an alchemist, ALLchemist. And as an alchemist, you are evoking possibilities. You are sourcing movement. You are activating the quantum evolution of us all. And I do that in conjunction with a good number of super buddies. We call ourselves Miraculous Maestros, and we meet once or twice a week to do whatever the bigger work is. And that's another thing that's quantum leapt in the evolution of us all, is how we work together. Because where before, when we were working together, there might be you and you and you and you and you and me, and we'd sit in a circle and boom, boom, and we might do some nice work together. But there was usually one person who was leading or whatever, that kind of thing. But now, when we come together as Miraculous Maestros, we each become whatever our version of this is, the all, the universe, the maestro, the whatever we're called to. And then we are a collective, and we are a collective with the earth, with nature, with the universe, with the stars, with animals, with the oceans, with the forests. It is a collectiveness of us, and it's automatic now. When we used to meet together, I would have to say, okay, let's just connect with each person, and then all together as a group. Now we just go, boom, we are collective. We even introduced someone who I hadn't seen for a few years, came into the group newly a week ago, and boom, we went straight to pure, powerful collectiveness with all of that embedded in it. It was staggeringly exciting. Really staggeringly exciting. I just love it. So, by the way, hi Kirsten, hi Hella. Great to have you with us. I just saw your comments. So what happens when we get together like that is that I just say go, and we each do what is ours to do and what wants to happen in the greatest scheme of things now. And so then we each do the work, but it's us as a collective force doing the work, with each maestro doing what is theirs to do. And then when we finish, we each share what we got. And then we discover, oh my gosh, look what's unfolding. And then we do it again, and we unfold it some more, and then we do it again, and we unfold it some more. And by the time we're finished, we go, oh my gosh, look what we just did. That no one's planning it, no one's scripting it, no one's controlling it, no one's leading it. It's all of us as pure equals, including the earth, nature, animals, oceans, and forests, and stars, and universe, as part of that co-creation, which is so exciting. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so I've been talking for about 13 minutes, so I'll probably stop there. There's so many more things I could talk about. Sorry, so let me just get a drink of water. So in the next 14 days, February 1st to the 14th, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live video. Looks like I'll be doing it on my timeline and sharing it over to the event on each of these topics. So we'll be delving into them in greater detail and looking at how do you get that? How do you achieve that? How has it evolved? How have we done that? And what's possible from there. So, so exciting. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening if you're watching this later. And I look forward to the rest of the next 13 days on our quantum becoming. Lots of love. Bye.